Today we're going to talk about energy levels. A lot of you don't have energy on a carnivore diet, a ketogenic diet. Definitely when you cut out those carbs. Let's get into it. Welcome everyone. Let's dive directly into this subject so I can edit this video and relax. Yeah, it's something, there are certain things that people don't talk about when they're doing any type of diet, which is energy levels, appetite, stool quality, and histamine issues. But today it's the energy levels. The reason why I thought of this is because in my videos, I recommend that you eat every 3 hours. And there's a reason for this. You guys are going through postprandial hypoglycemia in the middle of the night. And a client said today, well, how can I be hypoglycemic when my blood sugars are too high? And I said, that's a great question. You can be constantly having too low blood sugar, or you can go from high to low. Essentially, you lose the regulatory systems of your hormones when it comes to basically insulin. Here's the thing. If you test your blood sugar 10, 20, 30, or even up to an hour after eating your carnivore meal or your ketogenic meal, you're going to have a spike in insulin. So sometimes these numbers can be very, very subjective, and they can also be difficult to interpret because you could have horrible insulin, a perfect A1C, and so fasted blood sugar. The reason why a lot of you guys are feeling tired or tired and wired on these low carb diets is because you're not in ketosis. And getting into ketosis is quite a journey. Your body gets used to glucose, not just glucose, but running on glucose, glycogen storages within the liver and the muscle. We live our whole lives eating carbohydrates, and you can make ketones by fasting or not eating, but they're not viable ketones. You have to eat high fat, and you have to balance your blood sugar to be in a highly adapted ketogenic state. Eating a bunch of protein, I've said this in many videos, is not going to restore glycogen. The muscles are a gas tank for energy, carbs. If you eat a high protein diet and a moderate to low fat diet, you're not going to get energy from that protein. You can have liver glycogen storages. That's going to give you a small little window of energy, but you're not going to restore glycogen within the muscle. So many people that I consult who do these carnivore diets, they wake up 1 to 3 times a night. They will crash after a meal, or they'll feel tired in the morning, or a lot of people will wake up between like 3, 4, 5, and they just stay awake because they have to get up at 6 anyway. This is because of blood sugar dysregulation from not getting into ketosis. And on carnivore diets, for the first time, people really start to develop severe hypoglycemia or dysglycemia. So let's go more into what that is. When you are dysglycemic with like a tinge of hypoglycemia, you can have too high blood sugar, and then it can become too low. Your body's spitting out bolus amounts of insulin, and it's dropping your blood sugar. Then the hormone glucagon can't get that blood sugar back up. So you're in this hypo state. You're in a brain fog, maybe feeling tired and wired. You could feel nauseous. You can feel hungry or hangry. You have no power at the gym. These are the typical symptoms. Shaky. So the shakiness often is coupled with nausea. It is very, very important to not allow your regulatory systems to tank and develop hypoglycemia or severe dysglycemia. People will come from the carb world and they didn't have these super high numbers of glucose on carnivore. And people say, how is my blood sugar so high? Why am I hitting 105, 110, 120, 130? And unfortunately, if you're not eating any carbs and not enough fat, your body's going to go into gluconeogenesis, which is the creation of glucose through breaking down of amino acids. And what ends up happening is you can't restore muscle glycogen. Your body recognizes all this blood sugar, the conversion of amino acids into glucose, and then boom, your body kicks out all this insulin and it drops your blood sugar. And then you feel tired after you eat something, or you don't have enough energy for the whole day. And people become confused. They'll go and test their ketones in the afternoon, and they're like, my ketones are like 1.2 and my glucose is like an 86. And it's very confusing. Those ketones in the afternoon, it's from the fat that you ate, which is great. But often people with blood sugar that's too high or too low, those ketones then come out into the toilet. You don't actually absorb them and use them. So it's great that you can make the ketones, but if you don't use the ketones, you're going into gluconeogenesis. The body is trying to reestablish a glucose dominance over ketones. This creates hypoglycemia. Eat a bunch of protein because you're hungry and you want to feel satiated. The body takes that protein, converts it into glucose. You get minutes of energy, and then you crank out insulin and you crash. And when you crash, often glucagon, the hormone that gets your blood sugar back up, it's not working with you because you are too cortisol driven. You've gone now down that cortisol pathway. Why do I hear my horse outside? He better not be asking for carrots. He has me wrapped around his hoof. Symptoms. Waking up in the middle of the night, hard to fall asleep, waking up before your alarm and you can't go back to sleep, feeling tired in the afternoon, shaky, hangry, nauseous, weak, brain foggy. Those are the whole shaky and those are all the dysglycemic and hypoglycemic. Now when you're hyperglycemic, you can feel brain foggy, you can feel nauseous when the blood sugar gets too high, and often what goes up then comes down, and then you become hypo. You go from hyper to hypo. And once your blood sugar starts to destabilize and it's bouncing like a ball, now the hypothalamus, pituitary, adrenal, back here, and thyroid axis becomes affected by these high levels of cortisol. And people drinking coffee and eating twice a day and eating tons of protein, this is when you start to develop hypoglycemia that you didn't have before. Don't eat all that protein. In nature, we would not be able to eat tons of protein. Fat is very, very, very important. If we didn't have anything to eat, we rested. We don't rest anymore. We're lit. And then we have big freaking open holes in our gut wall, and the microvilli have been broken down. So we have this permeable gut now. A lot of people become malabsorptive. They're not absorbing their B12, their iron, these things that I've mentioned in previous videos. They have foamy urine. Can you imagine doing a carnivore diet and you have foamy urine and you're just eating more and more protein to feel full, but now your D is low? Now your B12 is high, your iron is high or low, and you don't really feel good. I'm 56, soon turning 57. I can really feel when I'm not in ketosis because of stress. It is a brain foggy, disconnected emotionally vibe that's hard to quantify and describe. I'm agitated. When I'm in ketosis, like I go all day. Physically, mentally, go, go, go. That's how you know you're not dysglycemic and you're producing ketones and you're actually using them. What you need to do is up your fat to 200. Eat moderate to low protein, especially in the beginning of your carnivore journey. Drink enough water and then balancing your electrolytes, because stress will downregulate sodium, and then boom, sodium and potassium becomes out of balance and you don't feel well. And that can skyrocket your blood sugar. Go to bed early, eat enough fat, take your protein down to moderate to low, and then things like diaphragmatic breathing, circadian rhythm, circadian eating, windows, eating every 3 hours if you're dysglycemic. Fatty meats, not carbs. I had a client, she was eating, I think, a little bit of meat or butter and then like a tablespoon or two of rice. And I'm like, don't do that. If you are doing low carb, high fat because you can't regulate your blood sugar or your thyroid, or rather your gallbladder's jacked up, you can have a starch, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but the middle, in between meals, like a snack, would be a fatty meat like ground beef or egg yolks. That's how you stabilize blood sugar, because if you're adding too many carbs throughout the day to stabilize, you start to crank out even more insulin and more dysglycemia. It's pretty interesting, and it's simple. Exercise to develop GLUT4 receptors, breathe properly, go to bed early, follow a circadian rhythm, get rid of the toxins, stop falling off the wagon, and you would be shocked how quickly your body will snap. I have people saying, I'm bothered, I'm gaining weight, I've been doing this carnivore diet for 6 months, I did well in the beginning, now things are, and I'm like, stop stressing. The mind is connected to the body. Let's look at your macros. Let's look at your 24-hour day. Let's look at your lifestyle. But really, it's the attitude. And a lot of people will self-sabotage here, and then the body self-sabotages. So then it doesn't really matter about your macros if you can't get right here. It's a journey. It's a journey. Comment below. Do you feel like you've gone through hypoglycemia or too high blood sugar? Do you feel like you're insulin resistant on a carnivore diet, which that has to do with cortisol, coffee, if you drink it, falling off the wagon, not going to bed early? That's the hyper. The hypo, it can be from skipping meals, not eating enough fat. Comment below. Do you have these signs and symptoms? Yeah. This video is a little all over the place because I am physically needing to relax, and even I need to listen to my own advice. You know, we've got the house built. My camper blew because the electrician tried to hotwire it. So we've got house lights, but right now it's running on a new battery that I bought. Another electrician is going to fix my camper tomorrow. Thank God. Yeah, that's been another stress. And then it's going to storm tomorrow, and I wanted to create diversions of water because I'm getting a lot of water under my camper and it's getting gross. And it's getting moldy. So I cleaned up all the mossy moldiness, created barriers. So this girl it's time to relax. And it's only 10 o'clock, the time I should go to bed. Maybe I need to follow my own advice. Yes, so my house build will be the drying in of my house is almost done. And when that's done, I'm going to finish the challenge and release it. So sorry for that. I wasn't able to release it yet. Just too many fires kept coming my way, like my mom, and changing builders, and my horse getting cancer, my donkey becoming lame, going to this god-awful meat stock retreat, which I'm still going to do a video explaining what happened. I just need to be in a Zen space and objective when I explain this idiot who invited me to something and then told me not to come after driving 5 hours. Plus so many other things about this retreat. Too many people, not enough beds. Yeah, somebody slept in their car because they didn't want to sleep in a room with somebody a man they didn't know. It was a mess. So, but I'll go more into that when I have time. And I'm out. Peace. If you guys need a consultation, go to stephanieperson.com. My Instagram is Stephanie Ketogenic. Facebook fan page is Stephanie the Business Person. You can sign up for my course where I cover now all 3 diets, because I'm just not educating people on keto anymore, or carnivore, or just low carb, high fat. It's all 3 that fits the individual. And I'm out.